before about 5 years ago, our skies were typically blue, and now you see it's covered with lines and haze. We began to eventually test to see if in fact there was credence to what we were seeing. And from the first test in precipitation in spring of '06 that tested 7 parts per billion, we've since had tests that have escalated as high as 3,450 parts per billion. That's a 50,000% increase in aluminum.
I sent this water, see it's right there, it says backyard rain gauge. Aluminum, 1,010 micrograms per liter of aluminum. And here's barium, 8 micrograms per liter of barium. And this is from the labs up in Redding, California. This is a certified government report. And here's what normal is. I asked them what would be normal. 0.5 would be normal.
For aluminum?
For aluminum. And the maximum allowed in drinking water, they said 50 micrograms per liter, and government action required at 1,000. Well, we're over 1,000.
We're so far off the scales for toxicity in aluminum that it appears to be affecting the flora greatly. Our grass is about 1/3 its height that it was only a few years ago. A 35-year forestry biologist has done 50 pH tests. The rain across the board, every single test was 10 times or more alkaline than it should be.
Even if you say, well, very poor stream, we might have gotten only 300. But even so, there's only 30 bugs here.
And the same stream you're looking at about 1,000, how many years ago were you finding it?
About 20 years ago, this had about 1,000.
If I could just clarify, so 10 megatons of aluminum dumped into the atmosphere would have no human health impact.
So let me be more careful here. Work to separate out the toxicological, so the aluminum we've only begun to research and publish nothing.
This is a very delicate moment for the powers that be, because they're taking a covered up operation like the tropospheric aerosol program or chemtrails, Project Icarus, whatever, it's had many names over the years, and they're making it overt into a geoengineering scientific shield to deflect sunlight because global warming's out of hand.
I'm a substitute teacher, and so I get to work with a lot of kids. I get to see a lot of kids in this county, and what I noticed in the last 2-3 years I've been working with the kids is that our kids, majority of them have upper respiratory problems. I'd say 2/3 to 3/4 of the kids are hacking and coughing most of the school year. I've spoken with teachers who've told me, I've brought this attention to them, you know, have you seen these skies, you know, all your life? Some of them have lived up here all their lives, and they say that, yeah, their skies look different from when they grew up, because it's a lot of times covered in this white milky haze. But they also have told me that they notice the kids, that the attention deficit, the attention span of the kids, it's their lives as teachers have become so much more difficult.
And again, many times at night as the sun starts to set and there's huge banks of this aircraft disbursement, it literally looks like there's forest fires burning across the mountains because it's a very dirty color. It's not a white cloud or a natural sunset by any means. It looks like there's some sort of massive industrial activity or forest fires burning over there, and we see that typically every night.
When you get 50 fish and maybe only 1 or 2 got a bug inside them, normally the trout stomachs are crammed with food.
There was mason jars, and they were brand new, sterilized, and that's what we catch the rain in. And then there was a HEPA filter that we tested the air with.
Okay, so you caught rain and then you basically filtered air. What did you find?
Aluminum and barium.
We haven't done anything serious on aluminum, and so there could be something terrible that we'll find tomorrow we haven't looked at.
You may remember the 8,000 dry lightning strikes that occurred in June of 2008. Yes. You may remember that. Again, my background, I've done lightning suppression work for Bechtel Power, and I've done worked in some of the first solar plants in the continental U.S. Atmospheric conductivity in the lower 48, I have read a couple articles that's been measured at 4 times its historical conductivity. More atmospheric conductivity would logically mean more lightning. The strikes that we had that day, I spoke to dozens of 30, 40-year veteran firefighters, and they've never seen anything like it. Atmospherically, they've never seen anything like it. And our skies were literally covered with aircraft trails the day that happened. But if you have a more conductive atmosphere, you're going to get more lightning.
Whether people believe in chemtrails or not, the geoengineering should be scary enough. And when people learn about geoengineering, chemtrails will then become apparent because they're the same.
This is from a snow surface at Mount Shasta. 61,100 micrograms per liter of aluminum. This is just ordinary snow water. And people are drinking this stuff when they're hiking on the mountain. And remember, government action is required at 1,000. This is 61 times over the government limit, and our hikers are drinking this poisonous water on Mount Shasta Mountain itself. Strontium, 383. Barium and strontium will take away from your bone structure, make for weak bone structure. The aluminum, though, that's scary. You know, what is it? Alzheimer's, autism, gosh knows what that's doing.
A number of other things, neurological.
We speak of these tests that contain massive amounts of heavy metals. Often the first response from people is, well, they're migrating from China. But California Air Quality Resources Board did a study on the aerosols from China, and metals were not amongst those aerosols. Again, the geoengineering patents specifically describe a polymer fiber to keep those metallic particles aloft a little bit longer. So again, if you have one of the most stringent air quality boards on the planet stating that these aerosols are not migrating from there, they weren't there 5 years ago, they're there in lethal quantities now, where are they coming from? Is that where they're coming from? You know, these aircraft you see laying these trails down, again, all I can say for sure is that the metals we're seeing match the patents exactly, and the patents match what we see above us exactly in the scope of creating artificial clouds. So we can only conclude this is the source of these metals.
Maybe 6.8 if you look at the darkest little portions in there. But this is black oak leaf. This is black oak acorns. This should be very acid, and I'm getting 10 times higher than expected. There's something really wrong here.
Amphibians, great decline. Used to sound like the Ozarks here with the tree frogs, and there's a small fraction of what there was here in only 4 years.
So there's something very wrong going on with the ecology around here. When you should be getting 5.5 and you're getting 6.8, there's something damned wrong.
It's not just activists anymore. Now the scientific community that has their head on straight is speaking out.
I would be willing to more or less kill 18 Mississippians to save 1,800 New Orleanians.